name's Becky May from Frond Yoga, and today this practice is a gentle practice, a kind of beginner level yoga practice, and it was designed as a home practice sequence for a client who actually has an artificial hip, so it's a great one to do if you too have an artificial hip. It doesn't involve any strong flexion of the hips, so nothing where we over compress the hip, and no internal rotation. It does contain external rotation, which my client was okay with. So yeah, and we use props to modify. So we have a chair and we also have a strap. And if you don't have a yoga strap, you could also use a dressing gown belt or a tie or anything like that. Okay, so we'll start lying down on our backs, always lovely, in Shavasana. So just lie on the back. If the lower back is tender, you could always bend the knees here. Just have the feet on the floor with the knees bent instead, or put a rolled up blanket or a bolster underneath the knees to support the back. And so for full Shavasana, the feet are slightly wider than hip distance, flopping out to the side. The arms are away from the side with the palms up. Check you feel centrally aligned. Take any uncomfortable hair bubbles out if you need. And we just use this time to connect to ourselves, to set our intention for our yoga practice. And maybe your intention could just be to let everything else go for the next 20 minutes or so, 20 minutes, half an hour. Just be present. Maybe your intention could be to be fully present, present with your body, with your breath, with your yoga practice. Giving yourself this gift of time with yourself, practicing yoga, nurturing, nourishing, strengthening, opening your body. And then just connect to your breath. Just become aware of your natural breath. No need to change it to begin with. Just watching the natural in and outflow of the breath. You may have the eyes closed to help your awareness come more internal rather than external. Shrinking your awareness to your mat, to your body lying on your mat, and to the inner workings of your body, the breath. And then start to consciously change the breath, start to elongate the inhales and the exhales. Breathing through the nose, filling the lungs as you inhale, exhaling completely, releasing all the air all the way to the bottom. Enjoying those lovely full breaths, stretching the body from within. I'm just going to begin with a pranayama practice, a counted breath. So we're going to breathe in for 4 and out for 4, and then we're going to systematically extend the exhale by 1 count each round until we're breathing in for 4 and out for 8, and then we'll just come back to normal breathing. So just take a slow deep inhale through the nose and a full exhale. And this time we're going to inhale for the count of 4, 2, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just release the breath technique, come back to slow, deep, conscious breaths, just noticing how you feel, noticing any shift in your mind, in your subtle perception after the pranayama. Pranayama means breath control or breath restraint. learning to control and work with the breath. Lovely. We're going to come into a stretch, and this is where you will need a strap. So just bring the inner seams of the legs together, bring the legs together. Again, if the low back is tender, just bend the left leg. And we're going to take the strap around the widest part of the right foot, the toe pad, and extend the leg up to the ceiling. So we're holding both edges of the strap in both hands with a nice relaxed grip, and the shoulders dropping back into the floor. And we're working to energise and open the back of the leg here. So we're pushing up and out through the heel, toes of the right foot are drawing back to the shin, and it's a sense of extension, awakening the leg and the foot. So we really try and keep the foot active, keeping that foot flexed towards the shin, toes towards the shin. If the lower back feels okay, maybe you keep the left leg bent for a few breaths, but if you feel that you can stretch that left leg out on the floor, it's just a little bit more intense for the back. If you do extend the left leg on the floor, see if you can keep active in the left leg as well, pushing out through the left heel as well as up and out through the right heel. So toes to shin on both legs. And we're still connecting to slow, deep, conscious breaths. A couple more here, see if you can get a little bit more extension. Maybe you can even bring the foot ever so slightly closer towards the face, but no effort, no strain, no expectations of where you think you should be. And of course, if you're more tight, the knee's going to be bent, and that's fine, as long as you can feel the stretch on the back of the leg. At the end of your next exhale, just bend the right leg, release the strap. And again, if you want to start with that right leg bent, just see what it feels like on this side. By all means do, or you could come straight to the right leg extended on the floor. But we take the strap around the widest part of the left foot now, just at the base of the toes, and work to even up the legs. So now awakening, enlivening this left leg, the back of the left leg, pushing up and out through the heel, toes to the shin, feeling a stretch on the back of the leg, and slow deep breath, shoulders relaxed, face relaxed. Again, if the back feels safe, extend the right leg down along the floor and activate the right leg as well. So both legs active, both feet flexed. Slow, deep breaths. Again, maybe for the last couple of breaths, just exploring, is there a little bit more space in the body now? Can we bring that foot just incrementally closer to the face? No worries if we can't, just stay where you are. Great. And at the end of the exhale, just release that foot. You can put the strap to one side. And just take a moment with both legs on the floor, just feel the awakening of the legs, energy moving through the legs. And we're going to come slowly up to hands and knees, so just make this a nice mindful slow transition, and probably the best thing to do is roll to the side. This is how babies get up. There's a wisdom to this way of getting up, and pushing through your hands to bring yourself up to seated, and then once you're up to seated, make your way to hands and knees. So we're looking to have the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. Spreading the fingertips. And we're going to just start to awaken the spine now with cat-cow. So we come first into the cow. So as you inhale, you lift the tailbone, so you lift the base of the spine, you drop the belly, draw the shoulders back, and you lift the head and look up to the eyebrows. This is cow position. As you exhale, you tuck the tailbone under. You ripple that wave of motion up the spine, you press through the hands to stretch the upper back to the ceiling and bring the chin to the chest, looking down the tip of the nose. And we just move through those two positions with your breath. So we initiate the movement at the base of the spine, letting the wave of motion travel up the spine and finishing with the head and the eyes. Don't forget to look up and down. Exhaling, tailbone tucks under, stretch the upper back to the ceiling, chin to chest, look down the nose. Just do 2 or 3 more rounds with your breath. Really enjoying this opening of the spine and the side body. It's such a great thing to do on a daily basis or a regular basis, is just mobilise the spine like this. All the different parts of the spine. And then at the end of your next exhale, just come to a neutral tabletop, a neutral spine in tabletop. And we're going to just find our core connection. So if you know the pelvic floor muscles, just squeeze, lift up on the pelvic floor muscles, just draw them in and up. And also see if you can lift the navel up towards the spine, so there's a sense of sucking the belly in, away from the floor, up towards the spine. But it's all happening at a deep internal level. So we connect to the core, just take your awareness to below the navel, and keeping that connection, keep the belly lifting to the spine. We stretch the right leg out behind us, and we try and internally rotate so the toes of the right foot point to the floor. We're pressing equally through both hands, and we're still lifting the belly up to the spine. Strong in the back leg, push out through the heel. You can stay here, this is great work, but if you feel stable to do so, you can extend the left arm out in front of you and come to this diagonal stretch in the body. It's quite a tricky balance sometimes, and it's strong work. We're still lifting the belly up to the spine, strong back leg, dynamically stretching forward through the left fingertips, and then exhale, release everything back down. Now between sides we can just take a modified child's pose. So because we can't flex the knees into the chest fully, we're going to keep the hips over the knees and take the elbows forward and the forearms forward and just rest the head on the floor behind the forearms. So come to the position that's okay for you with the flexion of the hips. And then just let the chest and the forehead melt towards the floor. This is a lovely opening for the side body, for the shoulders, for the upper back. The more we can soften and melt into the upper back and the chest, the more we're going to feel this releasing aspect of the posture. If you prefer, the head can be on the forearms. One more deep breath here. We're just giving the wrists a rest. And then when you're ready, just lift the head and just make your way back from the elbows back to the hands, hands underneath the shoulders, and let's go to the other side. So before we lift the leg, connect to the core. Lift the belly up to the spine, lift on the pelvic floor. You can do this in stages as well. You can first of all take the left leg out behind you with the toes tucked under and just get that nice stretch into the toe joint here. And then when you're ready, lift up. So we're looking for the leg to be roughly in line with the hip. Try not to let the toes stick out to the side. Try and internally rotate so they point down. Bearing in mind you may have limitations with internal rotation, but just do what you can here that's okay with your hip. And again, if you feel stable to do so, stretch the opposite hand, the right hand out in front of you, keeping the neck long, so we're just looking to the floor. Keeping very anchored down through the left hand and the top of the right foot and shin on the floor. Keep sucking the belly up to the navel, keep lifting on the pelvic floor, deep breaths. And exhale, release. And maybe just move the hips. If you feel you need another of those little modified child's pose, again, elbows forward, head down, just rest the wrists. Great. And bringing yourself back up to the tabletop. And we're going to come to seated. You may have limitations that prevent you from sitting on the floor. You're welcome to do this sitting on the floor in cross-legged or kneeling or any other position. But for my client, because of limitations in the body, we're using a chair. So this is a great alternative. But turn the chair so that the back of the chair is not behind you, it's to the side. This isn't actually an ideal one because it curves in. It would be better to be straight, but I think we can manage. So we're just going to start with the neck. We're going to just do some neck releases here. Just rest the hands on the lap or wherever's comfortable. Nice straight spine, shoulders relaxed back and down. Inhale deeply, the centre. Exhale, turn to the right. Looking over the right shoulder. Inhale, centre. Exhale, left. Notice which is your tighter side, maybe linger on the tighter side. Inhale, centre. Exhale, drop the chin to the chest. Only the head is moving, not the spine. Inhale, stretch the chin all the way up. Don't need to throw the head all the way back, just stretch the front of the throat. And then come back to the centre. Inhale, centre. And exhale, just drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. Again, make sure we don't move the body, we're just moving the head. And we're looking to feel the stretch down the right side of the neck. If you wish for a little bit more, you can take the left hand up close to the ear and just drape the hand over the top of the head. Just rest the hand over the left hand over the right ear. Maybe just fingertips on the neck below the ear, pulling up ever so slightly. Bit of traction, dropping that right shoulder down. One more breath, releasing stretch. And because we're at quite a full stretch, the neck's a bit vulnerable, so I like to use my left hand on the left temple just to support the head to bring it back to the centre. And then inhale, centre, and exhale, drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Again, maybe you can discern if there's a particularly tight side, and then you know in future practices to linger on that side, spend more time there. Again, if you want a little bit more, take the right hand up, drape the hand over the top of the head and over the right hand over left ear. And my fingers are just resting on the skin below my earlobe, and I'm gently pulling on the skin of the neck just to increase that stretch ever so slightly, dropping that left shoulder down, breathing deep. And then right hand to temple, press the hand to the centre. And we'll just move on to some releasing stretches for the shoulders. So we're going to interlace the hands behind the back, so it looks like this. If that's not available, you could always use your strap and hold the strap if you can't make the bind. It's the same action. So hands are interlaced and we're lifting up and away, or holding the strap, lifting up and away. Breathing into the front of the chest. Taking the inhales all the way up to the collarbones. I love this stretch. And release. Great. And then we take, just settle for a moment. And then we take the right hand up so it's close to the ear, drop the fingertips down the spine. This is another one where you might want your strap. If you know the shoulders are tight, just hold the strap ready in the right hand as you do this, dropping the fingertips down the spine. And then you can take the left hand and use the fingertips to pull up and push down on the front of that right elbow just to get a bit deeper, and you can just stay here. But if you want to go for the full posture, you take the left hand out to the side with the palm facing behind you and bring it behind. It's a bit awkward with this chair actually, and reach the fingers up the spine. So just work around the chair. So you may find a finger hook, you may find your opposite fingers and you can hook the first knuckle of each finger against each other, or if you don't, you hold onto the strap with both hands and kind of pull, and over time walk the hands closer together up the strap until one day they meet, maybe, maybe not. Put the right elbows up in line with the ear, armpit open, one more breath, and exhale, release. And swap sides, remembering to hold the strap in the left hand if you think you might need it. So left hand stretches up close to the ear, drop the fingertips down the spine. Right fingertips come onto the front of the elbow and we kind of pull up a little bit and then push down. Stay there, or take the right hand out to the side, palm faces behind you, wriggle, take it behind and wriggle the fingers up the spine. See if you find the opposite fingers or the strap. Or if you don't have a strap, you can just hold on to the material of your top, kind of pulling up on the top hand and down a little bit on the bottom hand. Left elbow stays high, opening the armpit, try not to let it collapse and close forward. Deep breaths into the upper back, one more breath. And exhale, release. Great. And just one more. We're going to take the right hand across the body and we're going to use this elbow hook. So we take the left arm and we hook either above or below the elbow. Just see what works better for you. For me, I prefer above today, I think. Oh no, maybe below actually. But we draw the left hand towards us and this kind of presses the right arm into the body and we get this stretch on the outer right arm and shoulder, deltoid, tricep. Trying to drop that right shoulder and breathe deep. And release. To move the shoulders do, and then we go to the other side. So take the left arm across the body, hook the right elbow into the upper or lower arm, above or below the elbow, and squeeze the right hand towards the face. And that kind of locks this left arm in place and presses it in towards the body. Dropping the left shoulder, straightening the spine, slow deep breaths. And release. Great. So I'm going to come into some standing stretches, and we're going to have the chair handy for support and the wall. So there's various different things we can do to help us feel supported in the postures when we're new to yoga and we're just building strength. So we're going to take the high lunge, and we're going to have the chair in front of us. You could also use the wall if you didn't have a chair, wall for support. And we're going to have the right leg forward and the left leg, we're stepping it back and coming onto the toes with the heel lifted. And you want the chair to be close enough to you so that your spine can be upright. So we don't want to be leaning forward to reach the chair. And we bend to the right leg. So the right knee wants to be above the ankle or behind. Mine's slightly behind here. We don't want it to be in front. If it's in front, widen the stance. Take the back foot back a little bit. And we just kind of bounce a little bit on that back foot, squeeze the left buttock. We're activating the back leg to draw the heel back and lift the knee away from the floor. We connect to our core, lifting on the pelvic floor, navel in, and you can just stay here. And if you do feel secure and stable, you could raise the hands, knowing that you can always bring one hand down or both hands down if you need. And you could also come up in stages, raise one hand and then the other. And we take 2 or 3 more slow deep breaths here. It's a balance when we're not using the chair. So keep a steady gaze. Palms face each other. Shoulder width apart. And exhale, release. And to come out of this, just lean into the chair. Bring the right foot back a little bit. Step the left foot forward. And then we swap sides. Take the left foot forward. The right foot back, and it might just take a little bit of time to just establish the leg position and establish the right position for the chair so the spine is upright. So bend that left leg, just look at the knee, check it's not in front of the ankle, above or behind, or on the toe of the back foot, and we work to activate the back leg, drawing the heel back, lifting the kneecap away from the floor, feeling like you're squeezing that right buttock now. And just stay here. Or again, maybe in stages, maybe see what it's like to lift the left hand, maybe lift the right hand. Becomes much more challenging, a balance, much more work in the legs when we're not using the chair for support. So just take it in stages and focus on slow deep breaths. Try and commit to 5 breaths in each posture. If you start to do this on your own at home, 1 more breath if you can. And then exhale to bring the hands down, just lean on the chair, step the left foot back a little bit, the right foot comes forward to join the left. Great. And then we're going to take warrior 2. So you may still need the chair or you may need the wall for support, but this one's a less of a balance, so we'll try it without the chair. So now we face the long edge of the mat and we turn the left foot in and the right foot out, so hopefully this external rotation is okay for your hip. And we inhale, reach the hands out in either direction, and exhale, we bend the right leg, and again, we're looking for the knee above or behind the ankle, so you might need to widen the stance if it's in front of the ankle. Heels in line, and we turn and look forward over that middle right finger. Lift on the pelvic floor, draw the navel to the spine, connect to your core. Reach dynamically through the arms and the fingertips, but drop the shoulder blades together down the spine so the shoulders are away from the ears, so we're not tensing up here. Freeing the shoulders and the ears, but very strong dynamic arms and legs. 1 more breath if you can, strong warrior breath. And then inhale, straighten the right leg, release the hands, and we'll just pivot on the feet to go to the other side. So turn the right foot in, the left foot out, hips don't move, hips face forward. Reach through the fingertips, inhale. Exhale, bend the left leg. So knee above or behind. You know, if we're new and we're building strength, we might not want to go into such a deep bend. But eventually, as we get stronger, as we do this regularly, we can deepen the bend till one day maybe there's a right angle. But we don't want to overtax the knee joint, so we need to wait till we build up the strength in the legs to support the knee. Again, dynamic arms and fingertips, but relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Connect to the core. Strong in the back leg. Press out through the little toe edge and the heel. 1 more breath if you can. And then straighten that left leg. Turn the left foot in, and then just, however you can, just start to walk the feet and heel toeing, or you might step the feet in and come to bring the feet together. And then we're going to take a balance, and you may wish to have the wall to either side of you or the chair, just something to support you if you're feeling wobbly. So we'll balance on the left side first. Spread the toes, draw up on the kneecap, firm the thigh, keep the left hip drawing in. And then see if you can bring the right sole of the foot. The full posture is to the inner upper thigh, but listen to the capacity of your knee and your hip. You might need to take it below the knee or even to the ankle, the toes on the floor. The only place we don't want to press is the inner knee joint, so either above or below. So find your position, try and draw the knee, the right knee to the wall behind you. Bring the hands together at the centre of the chest. Find a steady gaze point. We're really externally rotating this right leg. Connect to the core. You can stay here, or if you feel stable, inhale the hands up through the centre line of the body, and exhale, open the hands just a little bit wider than shoulder width. Spread the fingertips, stretch the skin of the palms. Breathe fully, shoulders drawing down away from the ears. Engage those shoulder blades. Slide them together down the spine. And then, on your next inhale, bring the palms together above the head. Exhale, let the thumbs touch the sternum, the chest. Inhale here. Exhale, release the right foot. And if you fall out, it's totally fine. Just come in as many times as you need. Fall out, come in, fall out, come in. So to the other side, so you might need to move the chair or turn round. So you've got the other hand next to the chair or the wall. Spread the right toes, firm the thigh by drawing up on the kneecap. Find your leg position. So again, full position, but depending on your flexibility and hip openness is inner upper thigh or below the knee, calf or ankle. So I'm going to go for the calf, and then we're drawing the knee to the wall behind us. So try not to have it forward, externally rotate. Find your steady gaze point, steady breath. And if you do feel steady, inhale to raise the hands above the head. Exhale, open a little bit wider than shoulders. Again, shoulder width, draw the shoulder blades down the spine, feel your core. Check that right hip's not falling out to the side, keep it drawing in. We're strengthening the right hip joint a lot here, the right ankle, the right hip. Creating a lot of stability and strength in the standing leg. Balances are amazing for strength and stability in the legs. One more breath. Inhale, hands come together. Exhale, hands come to the centre of the chest. Inhale here. Exhale, release. And with all these postures, if you need to come out before I say them, listen to your body. Okay, we build strength and stamina over time. Great, so we're going to come down onto the floor now. So make your way down onto your backs. And we're going to have a go at a little back bend. So we're going to pick up the feet, lift the feet and take hold of the front of the ankles and see if you can bring the heels close to the buttocks. The feet are about hip distance apart and parallel, so heels out, toes in for most of us. Big toes in, heels out. So the outer edges of the feet are parallel to the edge of the mat. And then from here we press down through the hands, press down through the feet. Inhale, start to raise the hips off the floor. So the legs work quite hard, and you just go as high as is right for you. So you might just have the hips just hovering above the floor to begin with. This is great. And over time, as the back opens and the legs strengthen, maybe you can lift the hips higher, but don't force it. If you're getting really high, if you feel like you're coming all the way up to the upper back, you could just roll the shoulders under one at a time and interlace the hands. Otherwise, you're just continuing to press down through the hands and the feet and lift the hips. Try to take 5 breaths if you can, or 3 to 5. Don't overstrain, especially if you're new or coming back to yoga after a break. No need to force, no point forcing anything. When you're ready to come out, we're going to slowly lower the spine from the upper back, the mid back, placing the vertebra down. The last thing to come down is the sacrum at the end of the spine, just above the buttocks. Shuffle the shoulders back, take the feet forward. Just take a little rest here with the feet on the floor. Breathe into the back. Breathe into the lower back. Now because this sequence is designed specifically for someone who can't fully flex the knees, we're not going to do a full counter posture of a forward fold on knees to chest. If you don't have that limitation, then you could take the knees to the chest when we get to that point. Otherwise, our counter posture is simply going to be to stretch the legs up into the ceiling one at a time. And again, activating the legs, pressing up and out through the heels and taking the hands behind us. So even though we're not in full counter pose, full flexion, we're in a half flexion and we're creating a lot of space in the back here, in the backs of the legs. So really breathe into the back body, deep breaths. So as I say, stay here if you cannot deeply flex the hips, but if you don't have that limitation, if you wanted to hug the knees into the chest at this point, that could be a nice feeling counter pose for the back bend. But otherwise, this is sufficient to ease the back after the back bend. And then at the end of your next exhale, just one at a time, bring the feet down to the floor, keeping the knees bent, bring the hands forward. I'm just going to finish with a little twist. So we're pressing through the feet and lifting the hips, and just ever so slightly take them over to the left, maybe a centimetre or so, and then lift the feet and allow the knees to come over to the right. And you can extend the arms in line with the shoulders, or you could rest the right hand on the outer left thigh, and we just spin the head to look over the left shoulder. So we're spiralling a twist all the way up the spine here, really good for the spine to twist. And we're stretching into the left sideways, outer hip, outer thigh, so breathe into all the parts of the body that feel stretched and opened here. Nice, slow, deep, releasing breaths. We're coming towards the end of the class, so slowing the breath down, breathing in space, and breathing out tension. A couple more slow, deep breaths. And at the end of the exhale, just draw the navel to the spine, and either one at a time or both together, we just bring the knees back to the centre, bring the feet down, and just bring the hips back to the centre to begin with, so get centrally aligned, and then do the same on the other side. So press through the press through the feet, lift the hips and offset them to the right, doesn't need to be far, a couple of centimetres, and allow the knees to drop over to the left. And again, you can extend the arms out in line with the shoulders, or if that's too intense, closer to the body, but out to the sides a little bit, and look over the right shoulder. You may wish to anchor down that right thigh by placing the left hand on top of the right thigh. If the thighs don't touch, the inner thighs don't touch, if you have a blanket or a cushion, you could just slip it between the thighs, maybe feel more comfortable and supported. Relax around the right chest and shoulder blade, relax the belly, and take slow deep breaths. Couple more. And then just bringing the knees back to the centre, press through the feet, bring the hips back to central alignment, bring everything back to central alignment, and we're ready for Shavasana. So if your back feels tender after the practice, again, you may wish to just take the feet forward a little bit, but keep the knees bent, at least for the first few breaths. But when you feel ready, you can extend the feet. So we finished the class as we started, Shabasana, the corpse pose, so feet wider than hip distance apart, flopping out to the side. Arms away from the side, palms up, just shuffle the body so that as much of the skin is in contact with the floor as possible. Do a little scan, see where you might be holding on to tension. Release that tension, give yourself permission to release. Check the jaw, check there's a gap between the teeth. Check the eyes are rolling back in the sockets, nice and gently. Check the fingers are just softly curling in. Arms heavy, back and shoulders and neck relaxed. Buttocks relaxed, belly relaxed. Legs heavy, feet relaxed, whole body relaxed. Just notice how you feel after the practice. And allow yourself to open up to receive the fruits of your practice. Let muscle memory build, let new neural pathways start to build. We're transforming our body, mind, spirit complex every time we practice. Relax into that. Trust the process. If you have the luxury of time today, you could take longer here. It's just a lovely place to spend time, longer time if you have it. And if you're closing the practice with me today, we're going to slowly think about sitting up. But first of all, just start to deepen your breath. Start to bring small movements back to the fingers and the toes. Maybe just slowly roll the head side to side, massaging the back of the skull. Maybe you need a bigger stretch, maybe you need a full body stretch, arms overhead, reaching through fingers and toes and heels. Oh, maybe you need a yawn, maybe you need the knees, maybe not to the chest because of this practice is not with full flexion, but maybe just up to the ceiling, just to ease the back. And then roll to the side, push yourself up to seated. And we're just going to close the practice in any way that's meaningful for you, but just consciously close your practice. So if sitting on the floor is not comfortable, again just sit on the chair and just take a moment to, I like to finish with gratitude, but whatever works for you, but consciously close the practice. In this case, just feeling gratitude for myself first and foremost for taking the time to practice today, for my amazing body that carries me through my days, deep gratitude. And for anything else that you feel grateful for in this moment. Gratitude is inherently elevating. It elevates the mood, the spirit, the vibration. So choose things that you're genuinely grateful for and you'll feel that lift in mood, that boost in energy. And when you'll feel complete, open the eyes if they're closed. Thank you for practicing today. Namaste. And I hope to see you on the mat again soon.